Hello and welcome to GOEL Founders, where we inspire a generation of change makers to find their purpose through inspiring stories of founders all over the world. I will be your host, Margaret Kimani, and today's guest is going to introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Dan Ndolo. I am co-founder and principal consultant, Kaya Talent. We are a recruitment company. We are helping scale-ups and startups within East Africa and the world eventually.
Okay.
But we start at home.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. So what did you do in campus?
Studies. I studied political science and public administration. Yeah.
Nice. So how is that related to what you're doing right now in Kaya?
Is it related? I don't know. I feel like you always pick different experiences from different things.
Yeah.
And as much as I am not practicing my political science training or the theoretical part, it still has an impact on, I understand history from a political point of view and how those conversations have shaped our world. And because we live in a political world, business or everything else, social, everything else takes precedence from that.
Yeah.
Because leaders determine cultures, leaders determine the environment that you live in. So there's no escaping that. But in the practical sense of practicing it as a tool of this is where I earn my money, no. It's not that related. Yeah.
Okay. So you're co-founder at Kaya Talent. Yeah. So can you tell us how you, both of you now, came up with the idea of Kaya Talent to where it is now?
I would say this was out of a need more than just sitting down and starting a business.
Yeah.
My co-founder is Ndolo, a great recruiter. He does C-suite recruitment. With Kaya Talent, and that's Tafuta Associates, we have two brands. With Kaya Talent, now this is what I run with my team, where we focus on smaller enterprises and every role that is not C-suite and below, we handle that. From looking for tuk-tuk drivers to head of finance, Sub-Saharan Africa. We've done, well, we can do that across the board.
Okay.
How did we start? COVID happened, I was employed.
Okay.
Then I thought I'd got into the role that I wanted to get into, and I was very happy with it. 2 months in, COVID hits. We need to go home.
Oh
my entire team went home. I think about 5-7 people. Then, savings and what do I do next? So even within that period, I was trying out different things. I moved away from Nairobi just so that I want to be able to still live. And continuing to live in Nairobi was not the thing then. So I was in Nanyuki for a while, helping a small company there figure out things. And at the same time, we were having a conversation on, do I join Ndolo and work with him on Tafuta? Then the conversation evolved to, how about we set up a separate brand that caters to a different market, that also caters to it plays to my strengths as well. I don't have to transfer that to the recruitment that he does. And there were so many other suggestions for names, etc., for brands, but eventually Kaya Talent won. And the red and the how do you call, is it Masai, the colors?
The colors.
Yeah, and that's how we ended up with what we have. It's been 2 years now. I like what we've been able to build so far.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So why Kaya? Why the name Kaya?
Funny story. When we set up, our focus was on family-owned businesses. And I'll say something and then connect it at the end.
Okay.
Whatever you think you're going to do with the business you start is not usually what you end up doing.
Okay.
Why do I say that? When we set it up to cater to family-owned businesses. And, we talk to people who are ready to give us that work.
Right.
I've never seen that gentleman. We have not worked with him up until now.
Yeah.
So, because we set up the business and now we have started, and the person who promised us work is not coming, then we decided to figure out then who else. And that figuring out who else is what has led us to this. So Kaya is from Mijikenda Kaya, homestead setups, because it was family-owned.
Oh, wow.
That made sense. That made sense to me and Danilo then. But the business has evolved, but I still like the name, so we're not going to change the name to anything else. I like what it represents. I like how the team has built the culture for it as well. So we don't call ourselves a family, but it's people who are very brilliant, are very good at what they do, who challenge themselves, and in turn challenge me to get better. Because when your team gets better and does things that you are doing, then you have to pursue other things as well.
Oh, that's nice. So what exactly, can you break it down, like what you do as Kaya Talent?
It's recruitment. So what that means is we come in when there is hard to find talent. So we have worked, and when I say across the board, it's exactly that. So we've helped companies that could not find an employee who will move to Kisumu and work there and do business development. There will be someone who can do the work. And it's not, we're just not picking whoever is available just because we are so far in Kisumu. And we'll talk to people. And a lot of the things that I do right now are from ISAC. ISAC is a school organization. So if I was not doing political science, I was doing ISAC. I think I spent, this is a dangerous thing to say, but I think I spent 10% of my time in class. And the rest of that time, I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I didn't want to spend so much time doing whatever was in class. Class is important. It's important for you to understand the structures of things and know where things have come from, for you to know, use history to help you figure out problems that come in the future. But I liked practicality of things. I don't want to study theory and just stay with, which is what I thought political science was going to do for me. Sit down and discuss things, and that doesn't change anything if you're not getting up and doing things. So ISAC allowed me to do that. So I was working with farmers, then I will work with Equity Bank. So it allowed me to exist in all these worlds that naturally as a student, you wouldn't really have access to them. But the projects that we were running, if you're running a career fair, Equity comes in, Umea Sugar comes in and supports us with 1, 2, 3 different things. It helps you to see the world differently. Because you're in school and people are able to trust you with their money and their brands, then you can keep trying things. Now back to recruitment. We find people who are hard to find, and even the easy ones to find. But where we excel is you run a company, you know your product, you know your customers, but you're not able to build a team to deliver that. That's where we come in. And we'll make sure that we understand your business for us to be able to give you solutions that make sense for you. And that's what we have done. Whether we are looking for tuk-tuk riders, or will help deliver, whether it's water, gas, to people who will run companies and come in and give you strategy. You're looking for someone who is coming, the business development manager for a medical sales company, and you haven't figured out exactly who you need to partner with, etc. We'll be able to find those people. Because the talent is here and it exists. And it's very good talent, whether it's engineers, your front-end developers, back-end, your DevOps. We have that here. It's just good talent often doesn't know where the opportunities are because they're so concentrated on the work that they're doing. They're concentrated on building themselves. So sometimes they don't connect with opportunities. So it's finding those people who are very good at what they do and connect them to opportunities that can allow them to earn from that as well.
So what happens, for example, I have my company and I'm looking for employees. So does the company approach you, or how does that go?
It works both ways. Sometimes we like what people are doing and we approach them. Other times, or most times, it has been we've done work for someone and they've taught someone else of what we're doing, and those people approach us.
Then on your Do you now advertise the jobs on your website for you to find now employees who you can maybe go through their CVs? And now how does that whole process go about?
That's part of it, but that's not everything. What we sell is a process,
Okay.
not a database. So if you tell me to hire an accountant, I don't have a database of 20 accountants that I can give to you. What we do is we go and look for those people wherever they are. So because every company is different, hiring an accountant for let's say a small company that is 10 to 20 people and hiring an accountant for a company that has 500 employees is very different. It's different cultures, it's different tasks, all of that. So then we can't apply the same to both processes. Yeah. Both processes have to be different to make sure that they cater to the problem that each one of these companies faces.
Okay.
So what we have is a process.
Okay.
And what you say is we'll look for those people where they are, because they exist and we have seen it. We are not selling something that we haven't seen. We know the talent is there. It's just we need to connect them to the opportunities that exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced with your brand, your company?
I think it's the normal challenges where you're starting out, you don't know a lot of things, but you have to keep going. So hiring even for yourself is also a challenge. You try different things until it works.
Yeah.
And I think we have figured out, that's why I say I have a brilliant team. I love the work that they do and how they do it. And how do I phrase that? The challenges of small businesses are all the same.
Okay.
You don't have systems. You don't have systems and processes. You don't have the right team. You're tired because you're doing everything. But it's leveraging on different strengths from different people. Yeah. My co-founder has different strengths. I have different strengths. He will have perhaps some of the structures, some of the this is how we structure maybe something like a contract. But me sitting down and and spending time to look at whether a zero looks like an O.
Yeah.
It's not where my strength is at.
Okay.
So then someone else takes care of that, which is great for me. Then I can focus on, we have a problem to fix. How do we fix it?
Okay.
We have a company. Do we understand how the founder works? Do we understand what the culture looks like? I can spend my time with that. Okay. These are problems that I'm okay with spending time on. So I think our problems of building systems, building structures, building teams are things that are universal. Everyone struggles with them. But what we have gotten good at is experimenting and trying different things. That's also what you promise to your team, you deliver. Okay. To make sure, and if you promise people things and you want to build a revolution, whatever that word is, whenever you want to build something that lasts and lasts for long, you will challenge yourself to do better. Yeah. And by challenging yourself to do better, then other people also challenge you to be better as well. So that's how we've gotten better at doing things. We don't know everything, but what we do know is if we keep trying different things to see what works, and we focus on what's a problem and what's the best solution for it, based on what we know, at the end of trying 2-3 different things, we will have figured out something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the some of the satisfaction or fulfillments that you have achieved from starting Kaya Talent?
I can never stop talking about my team. Because when you have people you can rely on, then I can have even the time to sit down and discuss what we are doing. Yeah. If we had not figured out some of those problems, I would be dealing with those problems. So it's being able to get to a point where we have enough time to think about bigger problems, because the ones that we have solved it. Okay. That's my biggest win. We have had amazing clients who've given us opportunities to try out these different things, and it's worked for them, and they keep coming back to us. Okay. One of the first jobs we did maybe was about 20K, and we've been able to grow the person who we did that work with, and right now they are doing, any type of recruitment they're doing now is 10 20 times that.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of growth, when we see that, then we know that if you fix talent, there's a lot of things that you can fix. There are problems that you will not even be aware of because they've been catered by, you've built your team well, and you've built systems and structures that also cater to that. Okay. And then also being very clear on what's a problem and what's the best solution for it, and not getting distracted by a lot of other things.
Okay.
There are things that I will not spend my time on, like I've mentioned, because that's not where my strength is at, and that's not what the company needs at the time. Right now we are building. We're very young. So then my time is spent on building. I can't afford to do anything that takes away from that.
Right.
So it's knowing what's your biggest problem, and then you stay with that until you figure it out. And once you figure that problem out, then you can move on to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that one thing that propels you to keep going?
I've just mentioned that when small businesses stay open, they change a lot. And that's what we want to see. That the businesses that we partner with, they stay open. And that's why we provide the solutions that we provide, because we want to keep them open. We want to see companies that exist for hundreds and hundreds of years. Yes. We don't have that. We don't have a lot of that on the continent, in the country, and even the ones that we have, they have a different makeup. So we want to stay open and make sure that other people also stay open. Smaller businesses cater for your 70 to 80% of employers. So your kibanda outside, there's a kid who is getting their school fees from that, plus other things that you will not be able to see. So any business that supports that, and that's why we concentrate on any business that caters to that market. It's because what it's trying to do is make sure that any small business. So what we cater to is startups and scale-ups, and this means companies that are very young, and most of those cater to the smaller market as well. So it's within that ecosystem that we exist, and if all of these companies stay open, there's a net effect that happens. Skills, people acquire skills because they are employed and they are working. Case in point, technical talent, which is your developers, etc. The reason companies from the West and East are looking here is because we have the people who can do those things. Internet opened up a lot of opportunities for people to learn and learn different things. You have developers here who probably have never worked for even a local company. They've worked for international companies all through from their bedroom, and that's how they've got an experience. So that experience, and it's sad to say that only outside companies have been able to provide that. It's not a bad thing in the end because we have the talent now, and now other companies. There's a reason Microsoft is setting up here. There's a reason your Googles, plus many other that are smaller, that don't even announce themselves and are in stealth mode, etc. It's because of the talent. Because if you don't have the talent, you can't build anything. So we have the talent here. And if this talent now can go into these small businesses and keep those businesses open and run those businesses well, we build a net effect of we have the talent, and we have also built the companies. So now you have the skill of doing the thing and also keeping the thing that you've built. Yeah. And the net effect of that, you can't see it now. It's something you see
over time.
Yeah, over time. And I think that's now where I can tap into history, and you can see how businesses have been set up before. They started small, but what they've kept doing is evolve. You have Japanese and Chinese companies that started from selling rice and primary goods. Right now they sell machinery, which is testament to you can keep trying different things and keep talking to the market. If it tells you to move a different direction, then move in that direction.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Is there any important information maybe that you would have wanted to share that maybe I have not asked a question on?
No, honestly, the things that change the world are not huge things. It's simple things like water and access to water. It's simple things like roads and access to roads.
Okay.
To mean that the ideas that seem small, they're big in that sense. Which is, if as entrepreneurs and as founders, we focus on what is the biggest good that can come out of a thing, and not get sidetracked by a lot of things, because you get a little success and you get distracted, because things like interviews will happen. Things like people wanting to talk to you will happen.
True.
But all you have is time, and this time is limited. You can't create more of it. So it's making sure that you're spending your time fixing the biggest, where you can get the biggest good. So whatever that may be. Because every time I'm speaking to new companies, I realize there are industries that I never was aware about.
Okay.
And there's a wealth of information out there if you're ready to use it. Ready to use it is not read a book and write notes about it. It's talk to someone, read a book, talk to a customer, and the next day you execute. Because you're small, you don't have the problems of a company that has 3-5 different CTO, COO, CEO that have to discuss with different teams of 10, 20 people to get things done. Your 2 employees, 3 employees, 10, even 15, make decisions fast and move, because the market moves that fast.
Okay.
And what people were looking for yesterday is not the same as today. Talent 20 years ago looked very different, and that's a very short period of time. And today it looks very different. And I can promise you in the next 15 years it will look very different. So then, do we stay because we have figured out this part, do we stay with that solution and that's the only thing we offer? No. Solutions are just as good as the people who use them. If people are not using those solutions, then that solution is not a solution anymore.
Okay.
So keep talking to customers, know what their problems are, and cater to that problem. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
Okay. You've even answered my question, the last question that I had. I just wanted to ask you an advice to someone who is starting up, but you've covered that. Like a small business, to implement something, it's like very easy. And unless you want to add to that point.
I'll just say start, because starting is very difficult. And then when you start, there's a problem of also now continuing. This is even more difficult. But if you've started, keep going, but don't pick things that are not necessary. If you have to run the thing by yourself for a couple of days, a couple of months, a couple of years, that's fine. If you need to get people to work with you for the solution to work, then you need to figure that out. But make sure that you're not biting more than you can chew, because time is important, but also the energy that you have is also limited. So then you want to pick problems that you're ready for. Which is, you've started, the one problem that you need to solve is, does your product fit what the market is looking for? Talk to customers. Now, customers have given you feedback. What do you do with this feedback? What's the next step? And it's the same. It's a process. So you keep growing day in, day out, because you just keep pushing yourself slightly ahead of where you were the day before.
Okay. Yeah. It's really enlightening. I am so glad that you came. I appreciate your time, and we are so happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Thank you.